The drivers headed to Shanghai International Circuit for round 3 of Season 5, and everyone was wondering, will Hayden Goodis and Red Bull get them out of Q1? Well, unfortunately, it didn't go Hayden's way once again, as he was knocked out for the 3rd time in a row out of Q1 and only qualified on the super soft tyre. But it got worse for Red Bull as his teammate Daniel Ricciardo also didn't get out of Q1, as he only qualified on the soft tyre, and it was a really miserable day for the Milton Keynes team. But the big shot came in the Q3, as for the first time in some while, it was an all-British lockout front row, with Jenson Button's McLaren taking a shock pole position from his fellow Englishman Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, with both Force Indias locking out the second row, with Sebastian Vettel in P5, along with Jolyon Palmer in P6, with the two Hasses in the 4th row, with Carlos Sainz and Raikkonen completing the top 10. But it is now time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Can Hayden bring it back? We're about to find out.
What is up, people, and welcome back to part 87 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the Chinese Grand Prix for round 3 of Season 5. Now, I just want to quickly apologise for not having any career mode episodes up recently. I've just sort of been in a little bit of a rut where I haven't really been as motivated as I really should be. But now I'm starting to get back into it, back into the rhythm of uploading career mode, and just trying to upload daily on this gaming channel, which of course is what you want to see. So there's just my quick little apology before we get into today's episode. But if you missed the 2 previous episodes, then go check out the card annotation in the top right corner of your screens. Also go check that out for everything else in this F1 2016 career mode. But we're currently quite high up in the standings. We won the Bahrain Grand Prix, of course, last time around, which was a huge surprise for us. But unfortunately, we are way down the field in the qualifying once again, as we could only manage P20. So before we get into today's race, let's take a quick little look at how the drivers line up on the grid. Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton making a British front row lockout, with Jenson Button getting P1 and Lewis Hamilton qualifying just behind him in 2nd place. It's a Force India 2nd row lockout, with Nico Hülkenberg qualifying in 3rd and Sergio Perez, the main championship contender so far, qualifying in P4. Then Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari in P5, Jolyon Palmer P6, Romain Grosjean P7 and Esteban Gutierrez in P8, making it a Haas 4th row lockout. Then it's Carlos Sainz and Kimi Raikkonen who line up 9th and 10th, with Fernando Alonso just missing out on the top 10 in qualifying, whereas his teammate managed to get that pole position. So be looking to try and do better in the race here today. Valtteri Bottas qualifies well down in 12th position, with Danny Kvyat in 13th place. Then it's Nico Rosberg, another teammate struggling compared to his rival, way down in 14th place. Down in P15 is the manners of Rio Haryanto, then Pascal Wehrlein just behind him in P16. Then it's my teammate Daniel Ricciardo not having the best of qualifying sessions. He unfortunately qualified on the soft tyres in Q1, which means he will start from way down in 17th on the grid. There's Marcus Ericsson in P18, Kevin Magnussen in P19, myself down in P20. Not really feeling it once again in the car, really struggling, but a much better, a bit of an improvement compared to what we have had in the 2 previous rounds. We are slowly moving into the right direction, qualifying in P20, but it is still not good enough, and we need to make sure we at least get into the high end of Q2, if not definitely into Q3, as we are a 2-time world champion. And finally, we have Felipe Nasr and Felipe Massa, the 2 Brazilians, right at the back of the field in 21st and 22nd positions. So that is your starting grid ahead of today's race. Let's head down to the track for the race strategy. So taking a look at the race strategy here today, the team want me to go for softs, then mediums, but there is a slight bit of rain in the air supposed to come around the midway stage of the race. So we're going to start on the medium tyres, try and take those out for as long as we possibly can, try and make sure we can sort of jump everybody that pits for the super softs and possibly even the soft tyres, and just try and make sure that we can avoid making that extra pit stop, and hopefully this race strategy will work to our advantage. So there is your race strategy for today. Let's head to the starting grid for the Chinese Grand Prix. Here we are then on the starting grid for round 3 of Season 5. It's the Chinese Grand Prix. It's 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start compared to a few drivers around us. We're going to put it straight up into Rich Mix because we are in a bit more of a battle this time around. Maybe have a look up the inside down towards turn 1. It's a very tricky turn 1, a complete 360-degree corners. We got the inside of a few drivers. Get very close there with the manner of Rio Haryanto. Side by side, now we go around the outside of Nico Rosberg and Daniel Ricciardo, my teammate. We're getting squeezed out wide though, so we're not able to go for any overtakes through there. Losing position to Rio Haryanto, nearly getting overtaken by Pascal Wehrlein as well as Nico Rosberg dives in front of us. We go down the inside, down into this hairpin, up the inside of a few drivers, side by side with Valtteri Bottas, and just behind Danny Kvyat in 12th place. Side by side though with the Williams driver of Valtteri Bottas go around the outside down in towards his left-hander. And there we go, taking away P13 from the Williams driver. Now right on the tail of Danny Kvyat, Fernando Alonso and Roman Grosjean. What positions can we pick up in this race? We go very deep into the hairpin, right behind the Toro Rosso driver of Danny Kvyat. Can we maybe seize up an opportunity up the inside into the final corner? We have a little look up the inside of Danny Kvyat, nice and fair between the two of us. Maybe squeeze him out just a little bit on the exit of the corner, but we do give him just about enough room, and we do take away the position and move up into P12. Remember, we need to get as many positions as we possibly can early on, because the other drivers will be coming to the pits fairly quickly, those guys on the super soft tyres. We need to make sure we get as far ahead of those guys as we possibly can. So we close right up to the back of Fernando Alonso in his McLaren car here on lap 2 of this Chinese Grand Prix. What can we do in today's race? Can we get another high points scoring position? We've got a 5th place in Australia and a win at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Go over to the right hand side, and Fernando Alonso down into the hairpin. It's easy pickings there on the McLaren driver. He fights back under the braking zone, but a good exit from ourselves if we can. Maybe not, as Fernando Alonso still sticks out the inside, but there we go, finally getting the position done on the McLaren driver. And here we are now right on the back of Jolyon Palmer. Much better exit compared to the Renault driver, possibly having a look around the outside, down in towards turn 1. Looks like we've got the job done before we've even got there. Going to turn 4. Normal line of the corner. No, we don't. We get a huge tap there from the Renault driver of Jolyon Palmer, putting us into a massive spin, and that's going to put us way down to the back of the field, losing us all those positions that we gained earlier on in the race. The only positions that we have got at the moment is P20, ahead of our teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who I also believe got involved in that collision as well, and Sebastian Vettel, who has recently just come into the pit lane. So disaster has struck here on lap 3. Let's take a look at a replay of exactly what's happened in that instance. Here we are getting past Fernando Alonso over on the right hand side down to the hairpin. Fairly simple move, just a nice and easy under braking, holds it around the outside. So a nice fight there from the McLaren of Fernando Alonso, but unfortunately it's just not enough, and in the end we do get the better exit down into the final corner. And this gives us a great drive through the final corner as well, side by side with Jolyon Palmer going down in towards turn 1. We have much greater straight line speed somehow than the Renault drive. Go around the outside, there's just the slightest amount of contact between the two of us. We're going to have to wait for an onboard from Jolyon Palmer just to see exactly how much contact there was between the two of us. We rejoin on the track right behind Felipe Nasr, unfortunately just losing so many positions in this race. Here we go, a view on board with Jolyon Palmer. So let's see, what did he do? Did we leave him enough room going down in towards turn 1? I think we did. We had the position done. Yes, and then he dives up the inside, makes the slightest amount of contact with our rear right tyre. And then he actually comes back onto the track in front of Daniel Ricciardo. It looks like he put Daniel Ricciardo into a spin as well. We'll get a better view of that now as we're watching on board with Daniel Ricciardo going down in towards turn 1. So let's watch on board here. So there's the contact between myself and Jolyon Palmer. Jolyon Palmer off the track. He comes back on into the path of Daniel Ricciardo, who hits him so hard that his tyres actually change from super softs to intermediates there. So Daniel Ricciardo getting put into a spin, losing quite a significant amount of his front wing there, which is going to be unfortunate for my teammate. He's probably going to have to come back into the pits and be way down the field. So a disappointing start to this race for both of the Red Bull drivers. But here we are on lap 3, watching on board with Kimi Räikkönen, going for a battle with the other Haas driver of Roman Grosjean, I believe that is, down in towards the hairpin. Now looks like there's a slight amount of rain on the track at the moment. So when will it be time to go into the pits for the intermediate tyres? Is anybody coming into pits now? It looks like Kimi Räikkönen is, and so is Roman Grosjean, side by side into the pit lane. Roman Grosjean just about getting there ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, but are they both coming in for a set of intermediate tyres? We're just going to have to wait and see. But for now, we're on the back of Felipe Nasr. We're going to get a few drivers as we come into the pits, as they come into the pits now. So that bumps us up into P13. But can we get Felipe Nasr down in towards turn 1? We're going to have a look up the inside in towards turn 1 now, side by side with Felipe Nasr, getting very close wheel to wheel with the Sauber driver. He's going to hold it up the inside in towards turn 2. We give him the room. We do give him enough room, but we get a better exit on the wider line, and that gives us P12. Now, will we be able to go and have a look at Kevin Magnussen down in towards this hairpin? We're not going to risk too much because it is a little bit, it's slightly damp out on track at the moment with the rain coming down very easily. So we're not going to risk too much because we could definitely lose on the braking. But there we go, I say that, and then we dive it up the inside of Kevin Magnussen, and that was just actually us getting caught out by how wet the track is at the moment. It's a little bit slippery under braking. Now we're having a look around the outside of the long sweeping right-hander onto the back straight. Not able to go for the overtake there, but following in the slipstream and using that greater straight line speed down in towards the hairpin. Felipe Nasr also looking to have a go down there as well, but unfortunately we managed to squeeze him out. We get the position on Kevin Magnussen, who might have a little look up the inside. He tries it, but he can't quite get it. No, he does. There's actually a slight little amount of contact. That's 2 Renaults who have made contact with us so far in this race, but luckily this one does not put us into a complete spin, and we are able to save it, as there are more drivers coming into the pits at the moment. That's going to bump us up into P7 at the moment in today's race, with the rain coming down and maybe going to be time for the intermediate tyres very soon as we lose the back end going onto the grass. But a good save there, managing to keep all 4 tyres on the track in the end and keeping them facing in the right direction. As we cut ahead to lap 5 now. Looks like we're coming to the pits very late under brakes there. Having a little look on Pascal Wehrlein, not able to go for the overtake there, getting a wheel on the dirt, but luckily not losing too much time. And there we go, just about stopping for the line as well. So we're going to be coming into the pits for what I can only guess is a set of intermediate tyres, and yes, it is. So what are we going to do in this pit stop phase? 2.3 second stop, a really good pit stop there from the Red Bull team. And I think we actually have gained a few positions, which is probably the first time in a long time we've actually gained positions in the pit lane, if ever. So that's pretty good news. Up into P6 now on the back of Felipe Massa, and it looks like we're quite a bit faster than the Williams driver through turn 1. Maybe be faster as well through turn 2. We're just going to have to wait and see there. Looks like we actually are, as our teammate Daniel Ricciardo is finally coming to the pits. He's way down the field at the moment, so disappointing for both, well, for that Red Bull car at the moment, where we're seeming to do quite a good job at the way it's this race. Great exit out of turn 3. And now fighting down to this hairpin with Felipe Massa around the outside. Can we hold it on Felipe Massa? Good exit on the wider line of the track. And there we go, taking Felipe Massa and taking 5th place as well. Good move there on the Williams drive, and that puts us right behind Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes, as we're watching now on board with Jolyon Palmer. He made contact with us earlier on in the race as his engine has gone. Disappointment there for Jolyon Palmer, although you could say that was karma for taking me out earlier on in the race. We're just going to have to wait and see what you guys decide in the comment section down below. So it looks like we're coming under pressure from Felipe Massa down in towards the hairpin. What can we do here? Felipe Massa on the right hand side, we're on the left hand side, down in towards the hairpin now. Very easy under braking as Massa makes contact there with Rosberg. We're going to get wider line, a bit of a switchback move on Felipe Massa. Looks like it's worked. It's worked on Romain Grosjean and Nico Rosberg as well. A great triple overtake, but we've run it wide into the final corner. That's going to give those positions back. So we come back onto the racing line. There's contact with Massa. Massa into the wall. He hits the Sauber. Oh my word, there is huge amount of contact down in towards the start-finish straight. And surely the safety car has to be deployed for that. The amount of cars that stopped on the start-finish straight. Debris all over the place as well. And it doesn't look like the safety car is coming out. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, a yellow flag on the start-finish straight, but yet there is not going to be a safety car, which is a little bit surprising. But let's have a look at a replay of exactly what happened. A great overtake. What an overtake that was down in towards the hairpin there, but unfortunately just making a huge error. An absolutely huge error, but I couldn't have come onto the track any later because I would have gone into the gravel and I would have gone into the wall, but unfortunately making contact with Felipe Massa, I probably came onto the track a bit too quickly and that made me move too far over to the left, but Felipe Massa saw me run wide. He probably should have given me the room to come back onto the track. I'll let you guys vote in the top right hand corner who was at fault for that one. I'm probably going to say myself, and I was very lucky not to be giving any sort of penalty for that in that race. And then there is my amazing overtake. I cannot believe we did that. That was such a good move around the inside. Lovely switchback, and then I just go and completely ruin it by running wide, making contact with Massa. He goes into the barriers, then he hits a Sauber there, and his race is just completely over, and he is unfortunately out of today's race. And then we have the Toro Rosso of Dani Kvyat. There's a contact, and Dani Kvyat just gets caught on the rear tyre, breaks his front wing, somehow is still in the race, and then gets a huge hit from behind by the manner of, I believe, Pascal Wehrlein, which actually damages the microphone on Dani Kvyat's car there. So pretty strange collision that was, and pretty strange thing to happen. He's on board with Marcus Ericsson, who just has nowhere to go at all. He's thinking about whether to go right or left. Felipe Massa is spinning all over the place, and unfortunately he loses his front left tyre. And then the manner of Pascal Wehrlein nearly gets away with it But then Danny Kvyat is right in his path after the two cars separate. And unfortunately, he only luckily damages his front wing. So it could have been a lot worse there for the Manor driver, Pascal Wehrlein. But there's a problem for someone. Looks like there's a problem for Nico Hülkenberg here on lap 8. And that is 2 races in a row that he has had horrid luck in this season. The guy who was fighting for the championship last season lost out by, I think it was 3 points in the end in season 4, has now got a puncher here at the Chinese Grand Prix and losing positions quickly, and he's going to fall all the way to the back to join my teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Luckily for him, the only consolation prize I can give him is that his punctures happened very late on in the lap. If that had happened in Sector 1, then he would have been right to the back of the field and had no chance of coming back. And this was sort of the problem we were having. We're currently running in P2 and catching up to Nico Rosberg for the lead of the race. But unfortunately, every time we got close, we just seemed to make a stupid mistake, like braking really late into that hairpin and running wide. But here we are on lap 10, watching on board with Nico Rosberg at the moment, down through this long sweeping right hander. We're not too far behind. We're about 2 seconds behind Nico Rosberg. As the yellow flags come out, Nico Rosberg, the leader of the Chinese Grand Prix, has had an engine failure out on lap 10 of the Chinese Grand Prix. That has gifted us the lead of this race. Could we go and do it? Could we go and get 2 race victories in a row? Only time will tell, but this is so close at the moment. Sergio Perez way far behind, but as soon as we get onto the dry tyres, which it looks like we're going to be doing now, the rain has stopped out on track, and it looks like we could be coming in for a set of dry tyres. There we go, the sun's coming out as well. You can see a little bit of lens flare on the cameras. Alonso and Sergio Perez also coming into the pit lane. They are not too far behind me, so it looks like they were catching up in the latter stages on those intermediate tyres. And now we're on the dries, and they could certainly catch up as well, depending on what sort of strategy they're going for. Both drivers going on the softer tyres at the moment. I think we're going to try and take these mediums all the way to the end of the race, but that was a super quick pit stop there from the Red Bull team. A 1.9 second stop. A great pit stop there from the Red Bull boys, and I think they can definitely be very happy about that one as we cut to lap 17. Now later on in this race, Fernando Alonso has a little look up the inside, down in towards this left-hander. Fernando Alonso and myself side by side at the moment. We're going to get the inside line in towards the right, in towards the long sweeping right-hander, but that is going to give Fernando Alonso DRS all the way down into the hairpin. Now we know that this Red Bull is lacking in straight line speed, but so is that McLaren. So is that McLaren going to be able to come back at us? Yes, it is, on the right hand side, using DRS, using slipstream, and we're going to push him all the way to the right hand side as we possibly can to get the best racing line through the hairpin. Round the outside now, very late under braking compared to Fernando Alonso. Having a look around the outside, and we've managed to make it stick somehow, finding the tiniest of gaps round the outside of Fernando Alonso, taking away the lead from back again in this Chinese Grand Prix. And there is the debris still out on track, but there we go, holding on to the lead of the race. Still, we cut to 1 lap later here on lap 18. Now we've got, looks like, Lewis Hamilton joining the back of this train. Sergio Perez so much quicker in a straight line. We know how quick that Force India car is in a straight line because of all the upgrades that we put on it. Sergio Perez not giving us that option to go round the outside like we did on Fernando Alonso. We run it very deep, unfortunately. That allows Alonso to have Lewis Hamilton, sorry, to have a slight little look up the inside. But unfortunately for him, not able to make the overtake. Now we need a good exit out of the final corner, which it looks like we have done. And if we can use DRS to our advantage, we may be able to get Sergio Perez back down in towards turn 1 and turn 2. We're very good through these 2 corners. So this is going to be our best opportunity to try and get the lead back. Maybe have a little look up the inside of turn 1. We're going to squeeze out the inside, which we do. But we're going to have to give Sergio Perez the inside line in towards turn 2 now. It looks like he may get the better exit on those fresher and better tyres. And there we go, Sergio Perez taking away that move from us. And I don't think we're going to be able to go for the overtake down to the hairpin, which we do not. So we cut ahead now to lap 19, as it looks like Lewis Hamilton now looking to go for that overtake. Fernando Alonso, can he do anything as well? He has to look up the inside. Great move there from Fernando Alonso, so late on the brakes as he takes away second place now down in towards the final corner. Can we do anything to take that position back? But remember, these 2 guys still have to make another pit stop in this race, whereas we are going to run all the way to the end on this set of medium tyres. We're going to pull over to the right hand side though, down in towards turn 1. We don't want to make the same mistake that we made with Jolyon Palmer braking a lot earlier this time around. So close, wheel to wheel with Fernando Alonso, push him out as wide as we possibly can. Inside line of turn 1, we'll have to give him the room through turn 2, but are we going to make the same mistake that we did with Sergio Perez? Looks like we have done, and Fernando Alonso so much quicker on those fresher tyres and on the better, softer tyres. We go down into the hairpin. Now we're going to maybe have a look up the inside, which we do. We're not making the same mistake that we did with Sergio Perez. We are taking back that second place. It looks like there was a slight amount of contact with Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton in the background, but Lewis Hamilton managing to get back onto the track, and nothing really too serious at the end of the day. We cut ahead to lap 21 now, and it looks like Sergio Perez has now finally come into the pits late on in this race. Looks like he's going to go on to another set of soft tyres and try and take those all the way till the end of the race. But can we hold on? Can we hold on in these medium tyres? We've taken it all the way to lap 27, and now Sergio Perez is right on our tail. What can we do though? What can we do in this Chinese Grand Prix to hold on to the lead of the race? As we go through the long, sweeping right-hander, Sergio Perez right on our tail. He pulls over to the right-hand side. We know how quick that Force India is in a straight line. Just look at it go. There is no chance of defending against that beast of a car. But we break at the 100-meter board, try and have a look around the outside like we did on Fernando Alonso. Not good enough under braking or turning in towards the hairpin there. As we go in towards the final corner, can we do anything against Sergio Perez through the final corner now? Down in towards turn 1, using DRS, using slipstream. Can we get the position back against the Force India driver? This is to make it 2 race wins in a row. Once again, braking very late. Maybe have a look around the outside. No, we can't. Sergio Perez blocks it off. Go into the back of Sergio Perez. They're damaging our front wing quite significantly there with a sort of orangey amber damage on the front left of our front wing. 45%. Our tyres are really starting to wear away now. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have the chance to get back as Sergio Perez. Very late under braking, but still not enough to go for the overtake on the Force India drive. And I feel like, unfortunately, Sergio Perez is going to be able to run away with the race victory from here as we go through the long left, then the right of the sweeping corners. Can we do anything to get back at Sergio Perez? We need a bit of luck now if we want to try and get the race victory. At least in Bahrain, when Sergio Perez got past us, there was one big braking zone to try and get back at him. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's only really the hairpin. And I feel like we're just going to lose out too much time before then to be given the chance to go for that overtake. And just take into consideration how quick that Force India is in a straight line, he's going to completely demolish us all the way down this straight. I don't even believe that I'm going to have DRS on Sergio Perez. Am I going to get it down towards? No, we're not. We are already a second behind Sergio Perez. That just shows us how quick he is on those softer, fresher tyres, and of course in the better cars. We go through the final couple of corners now. It is going to be Sergio Perez to win his second race in Season 5. What a fantastic job the Mexican driver has done there. Through the final corner, across the line, Sergio Perez wins the Chinese Grand Prix, and we come home for a fantastic second place. What a result then there at the Chinese Grand Prix. P2 at the end of the day is still a really, really good result. We had to do it on strategy at the end of the day. We just weren't quick enough compared to the AI here in Season 5. Started 20th on the grid and finished in P2. We can certainly be happy with that, even if we did it on a 2-stopper. But taking a look at the rest of the race classification, Sergio Perez is today's race winner. The 4-stopper working out for him. He qualified in P4 and he managed to win the race. A really good result there for the Mexican driver. Myself in P2 with Lewis Hamilton rounding out the podium positions. There's Fernando Alonso in P5, Fernando Alonso in P4, Sebastian Vettel in P5. Then it's Jenson Button in P6, Esteban Gutierrez P7, Bottas P8, Kimi Räikkönen P9, and Carlos Sainz getting the final championship point here today, with Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean just missing out on the points-paying positions. Looking further down the field, and Felipe Nasr finished the day's race in P13. Rio Haryanto 14th, Nico Hulkenberg in 15th, Verline in 16th. My teammate Daniel Ricciardo way down the field in 17th place. Not a good race for him today, with Danny Kvyat in P18. Then we have the guys who did not finish today: Nico Rosberg, Marcus Ericsson, Felipe Massa, who got involved with that collision with myself, and then Jolyon Palmer having the engine failure early on in today's race. So this is how today's race affects the Drivers' Championship. Sergio Perez still leads the way. He has a 15-point gap over myself, and then it's a huge gap behind us to Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso. The two McLarens doing a good job so far in the season, but it's so competitive between third and the rest of the field. So it looks like at the moment it's going to be a battle between myself and Sergio Perez for the championship, but I have a feeling that Sergio Perez is going to run away with the next couple of races, and I am going to struggle quite a bit, so I might fall back down into the rest of the field. So at the moment it's looking like it's Sergio Perez's championship to lose. And finally, taking a look at the Constructors' standings, Red Bull Racing still in second place, 15 points behind Force India at this stage of the season. We're a few points ahead of McLaren Honda as well, 20 points ahead of those guys. And then it's the case of Mercedes, Haas, who are all sort of amongst it in a bit of a battle down there. But that is it for today's Chinese Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for more Formula 1 content. And I'll see you next time with a Russian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.